All right, guys. So you guys know that I'm all about that bass, no treble. No, I'm all about getting low end power and as much as possibly can, and a lot of that comes down to getting your kick and bass sidechain spot on. You know, not just not spot on in the sense that it's completely surgical necessarily, but I mean just like the way that they both naturally work together and the balance between them gives you like this low end fullness, you know, and high sound quality in the low end. And so I've finally gotten around to downloading the compactor and having a go with it, and I'm very, very impressed, and I'm going to show you why. So just listen here to a little track I'm working on, and I've got just a bass and a kick drum, right? So we can just use this little work in progress as a demonstration, you know? So on the bass, I've set up a bunch of different options and I've sort of tested them out, okay? So we've got the compactor here. Everything's sidechaining from the kick. And so here it sounds pretty nice. And I'm using the mix a lot as well. It seems to can get quite aggressive quite quickly, I found, you know. So that's why the mix is quite important to dial in the actual effect a bit, you know, to get a bit more control there. So yeah, I've toyed around with I've kept the attack at 0, toyed with the release a bit. And anyway, I found like my perfect settings around here. Okay, so you can listen with the whole beat. Okay, off. Okay, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Now let's compare it to the normal compressor, right? The Kilohearts compressor. And again here, I've already dialed in some settings that I thought were quite good for this balance, you know. So if we sort of compare them now, I've got more bass power in the compactor, definitely. But it doesn't end here. These differences might be subtle through the YouTube compression and all this, but just take my word for it, my G's. Anyway, I have tested it out on my high quality Audeze LCD2s and I can really hear a big difference, right? I can hear that the compactor does a better job than the normal compressor. Okay, but that's not where this ends because I don't really use the normal compressor anyway, you know? And I tend to do multiband sidechaining for stuff like this, kick and bass, multiband. And so my go-to is usually the Waves F6, you know? So here it is with the F6 on. And again, what I've done is I've just dialed in some settings here where I found a good balance, you know? Okay, so that round there, it's pretty good, right? And that compared to the compactor, I find that to be still better, you know? I find that would be, of those three options, would be the best one. But that's because I'm using multiband, you know? So I can target the conflict areas more precisely and leave the rest of the bass to still be loud. So obviously, though, you can use the compactor also in multiband if you throw it in the multipass, right? So this is the final test then, is to see, is the multiband compactor better than the Waves F6? All right, so I've set another, I've set everything up here again here. Set everything up again and again here. I'm really good with words, aren't I? And again, toyed with the release and the range. And And of course the mix as well, really important. So there I've got a good balance again. And now it's just about comparing that to the F6 really. Alright, go back to the F6. Here we go. Yeah, it's much more power in the compactor, you know. Everything off, just F6. Pretty good, but I can feel it. I'm recording this now on my Sennheisers as well, and even on these I get the same result. So across 2 different headphones I'm getting the same results, but I already can tell when I first tested it on my Audeze headphones that the compactor method through the Multipass gave me actually the best result in the end. Where, you know, I basically have a clean signal in the low end. I've got the kick coming through cleanly, and I've got a high amount of bass retention, you know, in the low end. So that's obviously always the goal, you know, keep the bass loud, let the kick come through, don't let them muddy each other up, but still have them both as loud as and clear as possible, you know. And so that's what really the compactor's been able to do through the Multipass here. And it just seems to take the cake. I mean fairly significantly takes the cake in terms of I got that same level of separation and cleanliness and the same amount of space for the kick to come through cleanly, but I've retained a lot more low end power from the bass still. So it's separated the 2 elements without having to lose as much volume on the bass, essentially. So that's just my first time testing it out on this little work in progress, little minimal ting. And yeah, I'm sure it would probably have the same result on other tracks that I'm working on as well. And I'll be using it now going forward, I suppose, over the F6 to do a lot of my multiband sidechaining and to do especially the kick and bass, the really important stuff. I may still use the F6 for mid-range and high-end conflicts, perhaps, where it's not as it might not be as crucial to get things as perfect as possible. But I feel like with the compactor, the overall sound quality and power in the low end is going to be better on my music now going forward. And so I'll probably be using this now, to be fair. So big ups to Kilohearts for releasing something new, which is really, really awesome. And it feels a lot nicer to use than I previously tried doing some multiband sidechaining with the Kilohearts compressor, but I found that I kind of still preferred the F6 sound quality and result over the compressor when doing multiband. But now I feel like with the compactor, that actually is more has actually a higher quality than the F6 now. So that's my take on it using my ears and my headphones. But if you guys have a little test as well, I'm sure you'll get similar results. So I've finally switched over to compactor now after it's already been out for a little while. I think some people in my Discord were telling me about it, and I hadn't really had the time to check it out. But now that I've given it some tests, I'm definitely going to be using it going forward. So big ups to Kilohearts. Shout out to all the G's over there, and shout out to all you G's. Have a great rest of your day. Much love. More from me soon. And like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Check out the video links as well in my description for preset packs for Phase Plant, Current, Vital, Serum, one-on-one lessons, mastering services, and a wonderful Patreon Discord community. Come and join us. All right, that's it for me today. More from me soon. Much love. Slepty-derp, my G's. This Friday, I'm really excited for my next feedback live stream. I highly encourage you to join us. We'll be listening to a bunch of cool D&B music, and you'll get the chance to have your track played. You can upload it via my Discord. You have to join via my Patreon via the Fire Team tier. But once you're in there, you'll be part of the Discord community, and it's a great place where people are actually genuinely interested in getting to know about you and getting to know about your music, and will help you along your journey. So come along and join us. I'll see you inside.